And here we go with our week's coverage. The International Monetary Fund and the World Bank are holding their annual meetings right here in Washington this week. And it is a chance for the two international bodies to address the big picture of problems facing the world. Already, the World Bank has been weighing in on China's economy and why the economic engine there has been slowing a bit. Of course, our reporter on the ground, Shraysi, Tandon, is leading our efforts all there. She joins me right here in the studio. It's going to be a big week. There's already been a big announcement. First, let's walk through the story about China and the growth.
That's right. So the World Bank has announced that they are downgrading China, their forecast for the growth that the Chinese economy will see for the next 3 years. This year, 2015 and 2016, China was expected to grow 7.5% in 2015 and 2016. That, as you can see on your screen, has clearly been downgraded. Phil, the key reason that this is really happening is because of all the structural reforms that China is trying to implement. Now, let's go through what some of those reforms are. One, China's trying to clear up its shadow banking system. They want the banking industry to be much more healthy, much more robust, stronger. They want to boost competitiveness in trade and in exports, reduce investment barriers, boost trade ties from trading partners around the world, and they also want to clear up government debt. Along with that, they want to make sure that the resources that they're allocating towards growing various sectors and industries in China, that those resources are allocated properly. Now, the key thing here is all this is great, that the government is trying to implement these reforms and tackle structural reform. The problem lies here in that every time you try to implement reforms, you have to give, some part of the economy has to give. And so in this case, you're going to see that in growth.
But look, here's the thing. I mean, that's great and that's fine that the growth is slowing, but to a lot of folks, this really isn't that big of a surprise. I mean, even China itself had signaled that growth would slow as well, right?
That's 100% right. A lot of economists and analysts that we've been talking to on the ground, this is not a big surprise at all. If you are following the China story closely and China's economy, then you can anticipate for this. In fact, a few months ago, President Xi Jinping said that China's officials and leaders should now become used to, quote unquote, the new normal. And that is getting used to China growing, but not at the rapid level we've been seeing China grow at.
So at these meetings, you're going to be down there, you know, for the next couple of days here. I mean, you're going to be talking to experts. I mean, what do you want to know from them? I mean, you're going to ask them obviously about the China question. What do you want to know?
I want to ask them, what sort of impact does a slowing China really have on the global economy? Because there's a lot of chatter that goes around at these events in terms of the impact being quite significant, but really what are the industries that are really going to be affected on a macro scale? That's something that I'm really curious at seeing. At China growing at 7.1% versus 7.5% as previously estimated, what sort of ramifications will that have?
Yeah, well, I can tell you, being down with you there for a couple times at these big events, that there's a lot of chatter that happens on the sidelines. People won't say things publicly, but privately.
It's the best part.
You're going to be sneaking around down. Watch out, delegates. Tracy's going to be down there. Okay, stay right there. Hang